Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome to a bit of live recorded War Thunder, because I promised myself I'd sit down and try and make a video. Well, actually, to be truthful, I promised myself I'd do that on Monday, and I did, and then I discovered my microphone wasn't plugged in. So that was good. That was 27 minutes of footage down the drain, and it would have been a pretty, it was a video that I was reasonably happy with as well. So here we are back to square one, and this might be rubbish, I don't know, but anyway, I've just hit one of those patches where everything becomes difficult, more difficult than it needs to be, and just getting the enthusiasm to do videos is quite difficult when you've used up all that enthusiasm with such Herculean tasks as, getting out of bed in the morning and making lunch, which probably makes it sound more dramatic than it is, but anyway, such is life sometimes when you have all this fun mental health stuff going on. Anyway, so I bought some things in War Thunder, which is why I'm showing you War Thunder. It's not because I've suddenly renounced World of Tanks or anything like that. No, it's just I bought a thing that was on sale. In fact, I bought 3 things that were on sale. I bought a bundle of the Wyvern, which I've only so far played in the air PvE because I have no other planes that are quite that high of a BR for the Brits, although I've got some that aren't far off. I think I've got a 3.7 bow fighter. I've actually got a 4.7 Typhoon unlocked, but I haven't bought it. So theoretically I could put the Typhoon alongside it and have 2 planes in that lineup. But if you're playing just one vehicle in PvE, you can take that vehicle out over and over again. The game will let you do that. But the other thing that I bought, which I've been using to kind of force my way up the regular tech tree, is the Stridsvagn 81, which is basically the Swedish Centurion with some nice rockets. And then the Black Prince, which, appears to be, from what I can tell, a little bit over BR'd. Would you say that? Would you say over tiered, over BR'd? I don't know. It seems to be placed too high on the BR scale. I know not the terminology. So it gets a bit of a rough ride in terms of the matchmaking. Now, I've been playing these two together. I've done some arcade ground, and I've done some of the PvE, which of course is arcade level difficulty as well. But I'll try some tank arcade, because why not? And I know this is probably not ideal for the Black Prince. I've not really had a lot of success with the Black Prince generally, but the Stridsvagn's been kind of fun, so I'll just give it a go. And of course, with playing even tank arcade, you're going to get much better rewards than you will with the PvE, because the PvE doesn't pay out very well. You can kind of break even if you don't have a Prem account, which I do at the moment. Actually, this bundle came with like 2 weeks of premium time, so for the first time in a very long time, I'm not getting pestered with "it looks like your premium account time has run out" every time I open up the game. So that's a small side benefit, but I'm sure that will start again in 2 weeks. But it's been quite useful to have some higher tier prems to grind out some lions with. And of course, the nice thing about War Thunder is that if you buy a high tier premium, you can use it to unlock lower bits of the tech tree quite quickly. And you can kind of do that in tanks, but it requires converting XP using premium. But of course, in tanks you get free XP. You don't get that in War Thunder. You've only got your convertible RP pool. So it's like a free XP pool, except like the converted XP from World of Tanks, you need to then pay actual money to use that on a vehicle. And that's kind of annoying in that I can't have a pool of XP that I can use just through the process of playing the game to then upgrade vehicles if I want to use that convertible RP to upgrade a vehicle that's stock, to get such trivial, unimportant things as, I don't know, fire extinguishers. Then I'm going to need to actually pay cash to do it. So both tanks and War Thunder, you know, well, I suppose warships comes into that as well. Both titles, both offerings from the respective companies have their disadvantages. Ideally, you would have both free XP and the ability to grind through things with premiums as you can in War Thunder, but sadly, neither company is willing to be quite that nice to their customers. Anyway, so this is probably not going to go well in the Black Prince because I've learned that it's an okay tank with a 17-pounder for like poking holes in things with the gun, but poking holes in things doesn't necessarily mean you're actually then going to destroy those things, and it kind of ties in with the experience of playing the low-rank British tanks as well. I only just got the Crusader with a 6-pounder gun, which is the first one with a 6-pounder gun, and the rest of them are all up to that point they're like 40mm 2-pounder guns, and you're not doing anything with those. You really aren't. You just shoot people full of holes and they just sit there and go, yeah, so what? So yeah, the difference between this and the 105mm on the Centurion is pretty stark. The Centurion also just comes with things like an artillery call-in, and the rockets is just such an overall nicer tank to play. And I kind of get this, yeah, I kind of get this feeling in this tank as well. It's hard to significantly to hurt people. Certainly not for the BRs I've been encountering with it being dragged into higher BR matches through the Centurion. I'm fully aware that I'm not helping the case of that of this tank at all by doing that, but of course I don't have, like, literally my highest BR tank on the Brit line otherwise is 2.7, so if I want to get more than one tank which can be knocked out very, very quickly, it's kind of got to be dragged up. Anyway, so I'm going with the APCR rounds here. I'm sort of caught out in, not quite in the open. There is, of course, this little crater that's been semi-fortified behind me, but if I want to try and get forwards, well, of course, this is not a fast tank. This is definitely not a fast tank. I don't think I'll have a good time if I try and make it. But you know what, we're going to try anyway, because I will inevitably get blown up in one shot by something with a vastly bigger gun, and then I can play the Centurion, which has actually been kind of fun to play. And even though it's only ground arcade, you know, it's only tank arcade battles, but still, you know, it has its moments. It's better than when I try realistic anyway. I don't particularly like. I've done a bit of air realistic in the past, but I don't particularly like ground realistic. Partly it's just I don't understand how people see the tanks without the markers. And I know that sounds like such a Wheel of Tanks noob thing to say. How do you see where they are without the markers? But I cannot see the tanks when they're in cover or when they're, you know, hiding in a tree line or whatever. It's just my brain cannot distinguish them. It cannot pull out the information that, oh look, there's a tank there hiding all the way off, hundreds of meters away. And I watch videos of people who are far better at this game, and they spot somehow the 3 pixels that are visible and go, oh, there's an enemy tank over there, and it's like, how do you do this? What witchcraft is involved? I don't understand. It might just be that, you know, the fact that I'm now over 30, I'm so old. My reflexes aren't there because War Thunder's a well-known Twitch shooter, right? Yeah. I don't know if this is a good spot to be or not, but we're kind of defending the cap, right? And then somebody comes along and drops some bombs or artillery barrage. I've been told there was I posted on Twitter that I bought these things, and somebody went, oh, the Wyvern's actually really good for ground RB, and it took me a moment to process that, and then I was like, oh yeah, no, of course, because it's got as a plane, it's got a nice array of, like, you can take rockets, you can take a couple of underwing bombs, and it's got some, I want to say 20mm cannons? I think it's 20mm cannons. In fact, all it's got are 20mm cannons, so it's a very, very solid plane. But I've only played it in the PvE so far, and it's quite good at taking down some of the planes, but when you've got a formation of Lancasters that you have to take down, it's like, well, oh, and I've been hit. I don't know if I'm missing something in the options, but I mean, it doesn't seem so bad here, but in the PvE especially, it can be really hard to tell sometimes when you've been hit. Like, you don't even get the sound of being hit. Your tank just explodes with no warning, or stuff just turns red down in the left-hand corner. And I don't know if that's specifically a bug with the PvE, but it can be very hard to tell what's going on. You can be fine 1 second, and then, you know, your tank's 90% exploded the next second, and you've got no idea what's going on, because you had absolutely no warning. You don't know what direction it came from, although in the PvE, you know, there's only a couple of directions with the waves going on at once. But yeah. Anyway, so I might, we seem to be winning this one fairly conclusively. I might get to do something with this one, but this gun is just so much more nice to use and solid and reliable. And actually can pen stuff and does more than just tickle the enemy tanks, as the 17-pounder does. And it gets rockets, and it's fun, it's nice. And I have heard this, and you know, I was aware of this for quite a long while before I actually played any like anything over the reserve British tanks, the low-tier British tanks. They're a bit of a slog to grind through, and then you get to the high tiers and suddenly it's all kind of worth it, because some of them are very, very good machines in the context of ground forces. And if they're like the Centurion, then I can well believe it. So we've only got one cap now. Most of our tanks seem to be clustered around the centre, toward the A cap. There's something up ahead. I had a pretty decent game, and I probably could have used that replay and maybe tried to narrate it, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing with War Thunder. Where it was arcade, but it was one of the desert maps, and there's a single cap point in the centre, and we came quite close to losing it, and then I helped. There was a couple of tanks, including myself, that just pushed into the cap, and I was able to use my smoke screen, because this thing has a smoke grenade launcher, to screen our cap, and so we then we almost won. In the end, we couldn't quite defend the cap for long enough and ended up losing, but it was a fun match. Well, I actually did relatively well out of it. And then there was another one on, I can't even remember the map, but I basically camped one cap circle, but I was at one cap circle for most of the game, and fended off several enemy tanks, and again, that helped win, but I didn't see a lot of action because not a lot of the enemy team went over that way, so I didn't get a huge amount of score in the end. Oh, hello. Right, we've also got another, I don't know, or whatever that is. Right, oh, IS-6s. I've heard IS-6s are a bit ridiculously tough. As in, well, I would say ridiculously tough in World of Tanks, because of course in World of Tanks you can just load the gold, but I have heard they're quite difficult to do significant amount of damage to. But I've set him on fire, so that might be a kill. I'm not going to get a lot of score out of this one, am I? Also, I've helped cap this, and this gives me one of our very few cap points now. Right. Is he going to burn out? Also, I'm aware there is stuff coming out the other way. Not gotten to use the rockets yet. I don't want to, like, I'm cautious about coming out of cover because if I explode, that's it. I don't have any more tanks I can take. We do still have more tickets or points or whatever you call them than the enemy, but yeah. There's something to the north. I don't know whether to try and, like, I don't know.
Attention to the map.
Oh, that's Tiger 2. Right, actually, if I back out too much that way, I'm going to get my butt shot off by enemy tanks, aren't I? Right, so there's a Tiger 2 there. What allies are around me? There's allies behind me. Oh, he's coming forwards. He's coming forwards. Uh-oh. Can we use rockets? No, I think they need to be a certain distance away, and maybe he's also just not quite. I don't know. Ooh. Ah, damn it! Yeah, welcome to War Thunder. It's like the first shot you take explodes you completely. Oh, look at that! That was ridiculous. That just... No, never mind. And this is why I'll probably never play War Thunder quite as much as World of Tanks. Because, you know, stuff like that. I don't know, for some people that's the point. That's why they prefer War Thunder. But for me, I like to have a little more predictability, if that makes any sense. I mean, sure, you can just get exploded by an ammo rack in World of Tanks, but it's a little more uncommon. I'm just flicking through and see what the various things are. Lots of Tiger 2s in this matchup. Panther... I think that is the T-34 a premium in this game. I know the T-29 is, which I thought was a bit odd. And I'm sure I've read... It's probably on the subreddit, because I do check out the subreddit occasionally, even though there's a lot of memes and just general saltiness. Yeah, for its BR, it seems to be one of the few decent American vehicles at that BR. And it's one you have to pay actual money for. So, yeah, the American tanks, because I'm actually probably further on the American tanks than any other nation. They seem okay at the tier that I'm at, but I'm kind of hesitant to go any further up. Whereas with the Brits, it seems like once you get up to the high BR vehicles, the high tier vehicles, they're actually kind of worthwhile. Anyway, so just that completely scrub performance alone has been enough to unlock, like, what? 50-60% of the RP needed for the Cromwell 5. Plus we won, so, you know, 25k for... Yeah, I don't know if that would... if that's a good equivalency of what I could have expected from a similar World of Tanks match with, you know, what would be a tier 8 premium. But considering the price that I paid for these things, I think... unbundled, you know, bought separately, they would have been I don't know, like £90 maybe, £100, because War Thunder doesn't particularly do cheap premiums either, but the 50 quid I think it was for the three premiums, it seemed like rather a good deal. So I did that rare thing and just, you know, spent money on War Thunder. So there you go, Gaijin, are you happy I gave you some money? So there we go. I recorded the thing. It wasn't as good as the thing I recorded previously, but at least in my opinion, it wasn't as good. I don't know what my video upload schedule is going to be like for the next little while. I do know that I've got to do a supportive spotlight video, which is one of those. There's also a review video I want to do for warships, because I promised I wouldn't be lazy and I would actually do some review videos of existing things that I've played a fair bit. There was probably other stuff I was going to do as well. Probably. I probably made a list and then put it somewhere where I will never find it. Or I'll find it in 6 months' time and think, what the hell is this? Anyway, so I think I'd better wrap this up, because otherwise I'm just going to be sitting here rambling to myself, which is pretty much the entire premise of this channel anyway, let's be honest. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and, you know, the fact that I managed to get a video done. And if you have, you can leave any comments below, you can hit the like button, you can Sub to my channel if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned for more.